welcome. And you missed out on some really good stuff, but that's your loss, I guess, at this point.
I can summarize. There's no correlation between circumcision and foot fetishes, but there still could be. But so far, there's no conclusive evidence about that. Okay, this is a story. Can I tell a story? It's like 5 minutes. Okay, so as an undergrad at UCSD, I was doing a music degree, but then I was also taking a bunch of crazy classes on the side. And so one of those classes was by this guy, Dr. Ramachandran, who's like this super famous neuroscientist. And so I read his books on tour. Like, this guy's super cool. Like, the book I read on tour was the book for the class. I was so stoked. And so he does a lot of research on like the brain, neuroplasticity and how the brain can rewire itself, like phantom limbs and stuff. So you get like your hand chopped off, and then you have a phantom hand, but then you can feel your phantom hand in your face, because the hand area and the face area on the somatosensory cortex are right next to each other. And when you lose that part of your hand, you lose that part of your body, your brain doesn't know it's gone. So it's like looking for the neighboring area for like electrical synaptic activity. And then you feel your phantom hand in your face. It's totally fucking crazy. Synesthesia, like where you correlate colors with numbers, is another thing he's famous for. And another thing is foot fetishes, because the feet area and the genitalia area are right next to each other in the brain. And so this is the explanation of foot fetish. So like in Wikipedia, it's like Ramachandran is cited as like the explanation of foot fetishes. So I had the epiphany. So anyway, in calculus tutoring, which I did not want to do, my mind was wandering, and I had this fucking brilliant epiphany. I was like, I figured it out. The cause of foot fetish is cutting off foreskin of children. And so like cutting off the foreskin where all the nerve endings for the fetus, and then it rewires, but it rewires the opposite way, not because that's like the last part of the body parts is the genitalia. And then it's almost like the perception of other people start. And then instead of having phantom foreskin felt in your foot, you get a foot fetish, because that's like the bridge into like the next perceiving other people, and like the whole like draw why sexuality happens in the first place, because you're trying to reconnect to somebody that you think is part of you. So anyway, I convinced his grad students, and I ran a preliminary study, like a survey, and the results were like statistically showing like that there's a correlation. So then I convinced a grad student to do this study through Ramachandran, who's like this fucking like, I'm just some crazy undergrad, and like, so I convinced him to do it, and I was so fucking stoked. And I was like, I went to his office hours as like other people were there, and I was just like, yeah, fucking foot fetish, fucking, genitalia, fucking like foreskin. And he's like, Robert, I don't know. And then like, so then we did the study, and of course like the results didn't show what I wanted it to show, but
I remember being on tour, you doing this, and then I remember you not getting a passing grade or something, right? Or something bad happened from it.
Calculus happened. That's what happened. So that was my distraction from calculus. But I was like so stoked. I just remember that moment, and I was like, oh my God, when I'm gonna fucking like talk about this, or if I like ever get interviewed about this, I'm gonna like talk about it like it was in calculus, and couldn't stand calculus, and that's why I came up with this theory, But of course it didn't come out to be the way I wanted it to, but I think that's because the control, like if you do research, you have to have a control. So the control was S&M fetish. So it's like people who were circumcised. What I was looking for, that more people who had foot fetishes would be circumcised than not. And then the control was supposed to be that people who were in the S&M would not have it wouldn't have the same amount of people who were circumcised, but they did. And I think that was my mistake, because I think there's a correlation to that S&M and foot fetish. That I should have used a different control. I should have done like, I don't know, like leather fetish or something, or some other kind of fetish. Like for you guys, if you don't know, it's the DSM is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Illnesses, I think. And so like every like it's like the Bible for psychologists and psychiatrists, and like every thing that exists where they assign a word to it gets put in there. So I think that the new version, the DSM-5, it finally has like cutting, and it has there's a couple other things that like they don't even have a word sometimes, you know, for things. It's like, dude, Iggy Pop was cutting like decades ago. Finally got a word for it. It's like, and it's always like based on 6 months of behavior. That always trips me out. It's like, all right, if you have this behavior for 6 months, you are this word. The other thing, you know, I was thinking though about the DSM actually. So this is a great meeting for me. Let's get a lot of shit off my chest here. There should be a positive connotation DSM. There should be like, because the DSM-5, it's always like, oh, you can't do your fucking job because you're fucking crazy, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, fuck that. There should be like the opposite book that has like the same conditions, but like positive connotation. So like obsessive compulsive disorder, like there should be obsessive compulsive successful artist syndrome, and they should like have like the positive kind, like the same thing that happens, but as you know, as a positive thing as opposed to a negative thing.
Sure.
My psychology teachers didn't think that was a cool idea, but I thought it was pretty good. It's actually funny because like I looked through that DSM, I'm just like, dude, that's everybody I know shows all these behaviors. Like there's not a single person that's not in that book.
There's gonna be some musicians that have a bunch of those things in the book.
I mean, I think everyone is probably in it to some extent.
Totally.
So that would be interesting, like to have the positive side of that. Someone, I mean, man, if someone hasn't done that yet, I would be shocked. This might be maybe we should start putting something together. The positive DSM book, right? Is that what?
Fuck yeah, let's do it. 31G release it. You know, it'll be sweet. It'll be all based on behavioralism. We'll just like go out and like have people tell positive stories. It'll be sweet.
I mean, it's interesting to think about it. Like even like, I don't know, any one of our bands, like everyone is to be dysfunctional in their own way, and we come together and work pretty diligently and with like great complexities and accomplish stuff like, in a group setting where everyone's, I mean, just not that I don't want to name anyone specific, but like, I mean, myself included, but we're all pretty fucked up, and it's weird that like, oh, we pull this shit off, you know, and like, I wonder how many things we would be in that book.
Dude, I have that book. I'm gonna grab it. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me get to the schizophrenia section and see if we can find Steve Aoki. Oh shit! All right. Random page. Okay, so the first random thing. Generalized anxiety disorder includes overanxious disorder of childhood. The essential feature of generalized anxiety disorder is excessive anxiety and worry, apprehensive expectation, occurring more days than not for a period of at least 6 months. The magical 6 months. About a number of events or activities. Okay. The individual finds it difficult to control the worry. The anxiety and worry are accompanied by at least 3 additional symptoms from a list that includes restlessness, being easily fatigued, difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, and disturbed sleep. All right. So, what band is that? Arab on Radar, maybe?
They went ahead and diagnosed themselves with all kinds of shit. Right? That was their pseudo name, or like their names that they made up. Or
yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like some. I feel like you were reading a description of myself.
I know. It's like everyone I know.
Yeah, that sounded like most of the Locusts there for sure.
Yeah. 6 months. Try 6 years.
Always.
Yeah. More than 6 years. We're going on 2 decades. So yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Let's talk about your recording. Where are you guys recording at?
This guy's house.
Yeah, we're in North Hollywood.
What's the name of your studio?
I keep changing it. What is it right now? I forget. I don't know. I don't know what the name of the studio is right now. This is just my office. I compose music from my desk right here, and we recorded a bunch of guitar for the new Def Club album in here and some bass. And then now we're doing vocals with Justin on this.
Nice.
So yeah, but we're in North Hollywood right now near Burbank.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah, Justin and Becky came up.
And he's doing, can we talk about your new?
Yeah, sure.
You talk about it.
So I also, what I do for work is I'm working for a show on Cartoon Network, or it just premiered on HBO Max. It's called Tig and Seek. And I'm in another band called The Manx, and our accordion player sold a show to Cartoon Network, and he's been working on it for like 5 years. And that's kind of how we met Justin, because he did a voice for this thing on Cartoon Network.
Uncle Grandpa, right?
Yeah, Uncle Grandpa. Which we
Yeah, I
also
remember watching that episode as a kid.
What? You haven't seen it?
Yeah, I said I remember seeing that episode of Uncle Grandpa as a kid and being like, holy crap.
Oh, as a kid, that's so crazy.
Wait, that was
I feel
like
it was like
a year.
I'm 19, so.
Yeah, exactly. It gets weirder when you get into your 30s.
When you're in your 40s, it gets really weird
Oh
too.
God, yeah.
Oh my God. Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I feel like there's a limit on this, but we should be fine. Yeah, so go for it. If it.
I want to pee.
all right, so one of my favorite quitting job stories was like, so between back in the early days, the easiest jobs to get to then quit to go on tour were like telemarketing jobs. They fucking sucked. It was fucking crazy. Just 8 hours of just like people hating you, like instantly, like, hello, fuck you, you fucking asshole. Like, oh, great. 8 hours of that shit. Anyway, so like we were doing surveys and like Jimmy Lavelle worked there, and I think Christopher Curse worked there too. And like, so then like they when we got hired, they were like, it'll never be political, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, like, I don't know, however many weeks later, the new script came and you're supposed to say, I'm calling on behalf of the Republican Party. And I was like, fuck this, fuck no. And like, I took my headset and I slammed it. I was like, I fucking quit, fuck this shit. And I left. I remember walking and then I turned and like Jimmy Lavelle was still there like, hello, I'm calling on behalf of the Republican Party.
But think about how rad that would have been if you would have stayed and then just like, I'm calling on behalf of the Republican Party, and just started just talking a bunch of shit, you know, like nonstop.
Yeah, that would be cool. And just like actually I did that one time for one job. I made a whole different script and like I put that script with the other scripts and I made it look just like it, and it was like talking about, you know, capitalism's fucked and all this shit. And my plan was to get fired, and then like I did like an 8-hour shift. And they didn't fire me, and I was like, "Fuck!" They listen in sometimes. Yeah. I was like, when they listen in, that's it. This is gonna be fucking anarchy, yeah. And it was just like no one gave a shit. I was just like, "Fuck!" So it wasn't a big, you know, drastic, you know, like fuck you, I quit. It was just like, all right, I quit. I mean, sometimes the best thing to do is, you know, like if there's toxic people in your life, you just like, you know. Sometimes it's best to not have any interactions with toxic people because they're just going to emanate more toxic shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but we all could go fuck with those people.
Oh, true. We could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the jam.
That's a good point, Bobby. I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think maybe we'll cut it here, and then I don't know. This was weird and awesome. So thank all of you guys for taking part in this.
Yeah, this was interesting, like really cool.
Yeah, it's cool hanging out with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, from the 31G crew to you though, like if anyone fucks with you, just let us know. I mean, we can all gang up on people too, or like at least outsmart them and make them feel stupid. You know, I mean that's something that's given or whatever. So,
yeah, I love long distance fucking with people. So
Sal is good at that. He does that shit all the time. So sometimes I'll tell Sal like, dude, I'm having a problem. Can you please take care of this? And then a couple days later, I'll be like, I'm blocked on Facebook. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. So yeah, keep that in mind that you have family to take care of that shit. So I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. And I hope the dude that checked in with the hurricane is good. That was kind of short-lived, but
yeah.
Fuck. All right. Well, I'm gonna check out then, and thank you all for taking part. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
thanks for coming to see us.
Bye.
Bye.